Back in November of 2016, during broad daylight hours, YouTube user Time to Change, Jersey Style, was shooting video of the Marlborough Township Police Department. That's in New Jersey. And she was accosted by a few of the township's finest. Much of what officers told her was incoherent and riddled with false reasoning and misinformation, but they did manage to communicate that their concerns were based on the activist video recording around the police station, which amounted to generalized discomfort with her behavior, but far short of the standard required to authorize a lawful investigative detention. Nevertheless, she was told she's not free to go until she identifies herself. The landmark Supreme Court decision in Terry v. Ohio puts all police everywhere on notice that they must develop reasonable, articulable suspicion that crime is afoot in order to justify a brief detention or a brief investigative stop whose purpose is either to dispel or confirm their suspicions of wrongdoing. Unfortunately for them, shooting video doesn't by itself qualify as suspicious enough behavior to justify a seizure under the Fourth Amendment, even with all the court's exceptions, because her activity was solidly protected under the First Amendment. The videographer clearly articulated her objection to the detention and firmly held her ground by declining all suggestions that she identify herself. All she would divulge is that she was gathering content for a story, that she was not armed, nor did she harbor any ill will, and she repeatedly dropped hints that she was not doing anything wrong. Nothing she was doing was illegal, it was constitutionally protected, and done in areas open to the public. Authorities, nonetheless, refused to let her go, but they eventually managed to locate her vehicle, and by running her tags, obtained her identity, which seemed to gratify their obsession, and so they finally let her go. Watch as the painful interaction unfolds, and note how expertly the activist handles herself throughout.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, I'm Detective Sergeant Fox with the police department. Could you turn that off for a second, please?
No.
Okay, so then now I'm going to ask for some identification. You have some identification with you?
Am I being detained?
No, you're not being detained. I'm just asking why you're taking photographs of our police cars. This is under Homeland Security. I'm just checking who you are and why you're here.
Have a nice day.
I just want to know who you are.
Wait, am I being detained?
Ma'am, I'm trying to identify who you are. So right now, yes, you're being detained until I find out who you are. Do you have a license on you or any kind of identification on you right now?
I'm not answering any questions.
Ma'am, you don't have a right not to answer my questions right now. I'm asking you who you are, and all I need to know is identify who you are. It's a Homeland Security issue. That's our police department, and you're recording our police department. So I'm simply asking you who you are and for you to identify yourself.
I'm not answering any questions.
I need you to identify yourself. Do you have a license with you or any kind of identification with you?
I'm not answering any questions.
Okay, we're going to stand here for a long time then. If you want to have a seat, that's fine.
Am I being detained?
I told you, man, you're being detained right now until I find out who you are.
For what crime?
I'm not accusing you of a crime. It's a Homeland Security issue. That's our police department, and we take that area very seriously, and we want to protect our police department. And right now, you're concerning me with your behavior.
Am I free to go?
Ma'am, you're not free to go right now until tell me who you are. Ma'am, mine's recording also, so we're recording each other.
I'm exercising my First Amendment right.
Okay, you don't have the right to step into our municipal complex and take pictures of our police department without us knowing who you are.
Under the First Amendment, yes.
Okay.
Because I was on a public space.
Ma'am, you also have the obligation, once we're investigating something, to provide your identification. And right now I'm investigating your activity over at our police department, and I'm simply asking you to provide me your identification. All I want to know is who you are. You're not being charged with any kind of a crime, any kind of offense, but there is a Homeland Security issue, and we do have the need to identify who you are. This is Officer Drum. She has her camera on also. She's also going to record this whole conversation.
I'm an independent journalist gathering content.
Well, do you have your identification? Show me you're an independent journalist, ma'am.
I don't need credentials.
Ma'am, you need to show me something of who you are. That would be the proper thing to do. I'm not detaining you. I'm not arresting you. I'm not placing you in handcuffs.
So I'm not being detained. So I'm not being
detained until you tell me who you are.
I'm not answering any more questions,
No
sir.
problem. We'll sit here for a little while.
Okay.
That's not a problem.
It's parked up on the admin side lot.
Can I walk around?
No, you stay right here, man, until we find out who you are. I've asked you a very simple question and asking you, all I want is your identification and for you to provide me who you are. If you're a journalist and you have paperwork advising me you're a journalist, I'll accept that. All I'm asking you is who you are.
I'm not.
We take that place very seriously. There's a lot of assets in there. There's a lot of stuff that we protect and hold very dearly. There are people that are trying to hurt us these days, and I want to know who you are.
And
make
I'm
sure you're
not one of those.
people. I don't know that. I don't know who you are. I've identified myself. I'm Sergeant Nicholas Szymanski with the Marlborough Township Police Department. I'm asking simply who you are and why are you videotaping our police department.
The reason
This is
why
not a normal course of action in our area. People don't normally come to our police department and videotape all of our cars and engage in this kind of activity.
I'm an independent journalist gathering content for a story.
Okay. Do you want to speak to somebody about the police department? Is that why you came here?
Go ahead.
Or you just want to take pictures of the department?
I'm an independent journalist gathering content for a story.
Okay, no problem. Did you want an interview? Or just pictures?
I'm an independent journalist gathering content for a story.
No, I understand that. But did you want an interview or did you want pictures? Because I see you filming the police department.
I'm not answering any more questions.
Okay, that's fine. I got my camera too.
Good.
Good?
So I can't like walk around?
No, not at this time until you identify who you are.
You know, like New Jersey's not a stop and ID state.
What's that?
New Jersey's not a stop and ID state.
Okay. That doesn't mean you can go up to the police department and start recording and not telling us what you're doing. You understand that police officers...
It's a public space, ma'am.
I understand that, but it's suspicious. What you're doing is suspicious.
But taking pictures within the public space is not suspicious.
Taking pictures of
Under
government
the-
property is suspicious.
Under the First Amendment,
You can go to a park, but if you come to the police department, you start recording our vehicles and our officers. I'm not saying it is, but we have the right to investigate it. So right now you're under police investigation. So that's why you can't
for what
leave.
crime?
There's no crime, but you're suspicious at this time. We have the right to investigate you.
But you don't know for what crime. So if I'm being detained for what crime?
You can wait till the supervisor comes back
Okay.
over. If you're not answering any of your questions, I'm not going to answer any of yours.
Who's the supervisor?
That's Supervisor Sergeant Nicholas Szymanski.
Okay.
And that's Officer Brandon Stacy.
May I talk to the supervisor?
Yes, ma'am. Sergeant, requesting to speak to you. He'll be with you in a minute.
Is he the supervisor, the one who talked to me?
Yes. Sergeant Nicholas Szymanski is in charge of the shift right now.
I'm not armed with anything. I'm not armed.
That's fine.
Okay, man. Okay, I understand I'm on Facebook Live right now. Thank you. We've identified who you are. You're Jennifer Crooms. I know who you are. That's fine. And you're now free to go. Okay, we'll just monitor your activities in our complex and you're good to go now. Okay, man? Is that satisfactory to you?
Yes, I'm getting like a reputation within the county.
Apparently. I don't know what you're doing, but that's fine.
Have a nice day.